Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Vialet Rayne.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Vialet Rayne, and today my guest is Yolanda Dickinson. Yep, that's right. I had to look second time. I always question myself. Yolanda was born a philosopher, questioning where she came from, what place she was born into, what she was supposed to be doing. She could feel the universe around her and heard it talking with her from a young age. She also remembered her past life and kept comparing this civilization to her past one. This led Yolanda to study for a bachelor's degree in philosophy, focusing on esoterics. 2 masters, one in information systems, one in acupuncture, and a doctorate in Divinity Ministry. So, welcome to the show, Yolanda.
Thank you, Violet. It's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to meet you again and talk with you.
I love it. I love it. Share a little bit with us your story. Like, here was a little bit, but what really guided you down that path? Because I feel like lots of people today are awakening or things are happening around them that they're questioning. So I like for people to understand that they're not alone, that I think more of us are experiencing that now more than ever.
Yeah, I agree with you definitely. An awakening is definitely happening, and I think it's easier for people today to find resources about metaphysics. Um, when I was young, there just were not many resources or people around me, and luckily, I did have the universe guiding me. The universe would guide me to certain people, certain events, to do certain things, and that would help further my path one step further. Um, my first attempt was finding books. And then at that time, there weren't too many books available for an elementary school child going, where am I? What do I do? I don't understand. And family, friends, no, didn't talk to anyone about this. This was kind of my little secret interdialogue that I had. Um, but I just kept reading and kept found the metaphysical bookstores that were in Denver because I grew up in Denver, and would start reading books, talking to people, going to groups that I could find, and then I just started kind of developing some intuition knowledge. I had read something early on about the chakras, and so I got really good at doing chakra work on myself. Did that, and then did, like I said, like you said, did a degree in philosophy, focusing on the esoterics, and that's where I got into Kabbalah. And during that degree, I went down, made a trip down to Crestone because I had some friends living down there at that time, and Crestone was just beginning to come up, and there was every belief system down there you could think of. And so I made the rounds, spending time with people, interviewing them, talking with them. Uh, and then I got into IT. So I took a brief break, um, but IT was very good to me. And I took a little break from that, got into acupuncture, which was the energy medicine. And I had always been intuitive to feeling energy around me. So that was really a boost up then with all of that information and knowledge and practice. And then I got called back into IT. And so I finally got out of IT last year. And in about November, the universe said, okay, it's time, full time, go out into the world, practice, help as many people as fast as you possibly can. And so the first thing I did was a friend from acupuncture school who was a publicist. Um, I got in contact with her and I worked on a multi author book with her. And I just wanted to share it. This is my first writing. It's called Oracle, and it's a bunch of great women who channeled messages from the divine. And it's for humanity and upcoming awakenings happening right now. So it is on Amazon, and I do sell hard copies on my website. But it would be great for anyone who has questions and is just starting, because all of our stories in here are so diverse. So yeah, it was great opportunity, and I got that done. And then I started my business online, and I have been going to the body, mind, spirit celebration fairs, doing a lot of local work. Um, I volunteer my services the first Saturday every month at the downtown Pueblo Library. I did that for the first time this past weekend, and it was great. So many people came out, and besides, having health issues, they come to see us, but also people who are beginning their spiritual journey were there coming to see us. And I worked on a whole family.
That's
It was,
awesome. That's
yeah, yeah,
awesome.
it
That's
was great.
awesome.
So this journey of mine has just one step in front of the other, going down this path, going down that path, going here, there, and I just keep going. And now I am full time doing this work, and it's been so rewarding and expansive, and it's just wonderful.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, let's go back because you're sharing lots of information. So we want to kind of go back and get into some meat of some things. I love the fact that you remembered as a child some of your past lives. So share with us a little bit on what that experience was like of knowing. And do you still remember a lot of that?
Yeah. So as far back as I can remember, I did not know where I was. I kept comparing what was going on in this world to my past life, my past uh, family, my past city, my past civilization, going, this isn't the way we did it. This isn't the way we believed. This isn't the morals we had. What's going on here? How do you guys know how to behave? I don't understand any of this. And I didn't know back then what was going on or why this was happening. It took time and experience. And so I I really think my last life that I was referring to was Lemuria. Lemuria. I think that's where I came from before I came here. And as you know, time is not linear.
Mm-hmm.
We can jump around, but in this third dimension, it's just kind of easier to speak that way, right?
Right.
Um, but I believe, yeah, my last life was Lemuria, and I kept having these visions of me being in different times, different locations, being male, female, and I would always have these groups of people chasing me to kill me, um, because I was giving messages that they did not want given.
Uh-huh.
Spreading the word about, you can do anything you want to do. You can be anything you want to be. Possibilities are limitless. And that just was not okay in a lot of my lives. And there was one very specific one where I remember being shot, and that I had physical pain from that 3 days after that event. It was like I was back there reliving it all over again. Another event, I went to the Hall of Records, and it was this huge, huge room, 40-foot ceilings, everything in white, and a lot of people. The thing that I remember most was the volume of everyone in there talking. It was like so busy, and all of these groups of people just standing around together in this big kind of huge room talking. And I walked through, and people would see me, but no one talked to me. And there were these little stations where there was like about a foot platform, and it was all white, and then on the sides were these white kind of short walls, and then in front was a taller white wall. And once you stepped on the platform, it was like you accessed your Akashic record. And I began to see an environment in front of me. And what I noticed more than anything was it pulled me in through my eyes. All of a sudden, I just started getting closer and closer to the environment until, boom, I was in that environment. And I looked down, and I was a different race. I was a different gender, barefoot. And I turn around, and there is this mob of people with spears running after me, yelling. And it's like, oh no, I've done it again. I've given the message that they don't want me to give. And so I started running, and I go, I've got to get out of here. I cannot suffer another physical attack. So I just took myself out of it, and I was in my bed, and I'm going, wow, okay. And this was when I was in ninth grade.
Wow, what a big experience for such a small
Yep,
child, right?
yep, yep. And so it's just my life has continued on with these events, and just not knowing who to talk to, what to do. But I just knew there was something to this. There was a reason this was happening, that it was all real. And I just didn't give up.
Did you ever notice that some of your family in this lifetime had different roles in the other lifetimes? Did you see synchronicities in relationships or people around you?
Um, I would meet people that I had been reincarnated with in past lives.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that would happen is within about 5 minutes of meeting them and talking to them, all of a sudden I would get like a video download, and I would see us in completely different environment. I could describe our relationship, the environment we were in, the clothes we were wearing, what was going on. Um, and so that would happen quite a lot with different people.
Yeah, I could see that. So, did these experiences lead you to want to work in the Akashic records? And how has that experience been for you? Because the Akashic for me is very expansive. Like you can't contain it. Like it's infinite in the information that you can get and what you can tap into.
Well, and so that's interesting because I did not know the word Akashic records, Hall of Records. I didn't know any of that until very, very late in life. I didn't know, you know, what that was. And at the time where I discovered the term, there was like one book. That was it. There was one book out, and of course I got it. I read it. The other thing is, I in the '90s, then I was introduced to Art Bell and his Coast to Coast AM show.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to thank that show, and art has left us, but that almost, I would say, saved my life, because it was like, oh my gosh, I am not alone anymore. And there were so many great people on that show. And I learned a lot. It's like, oh my gosh, that's what this is. That's what this is. That's what's going on. And so I knew what the Akashic was, but I never had tried to, you know, deliberately read or do anything like that. It came to me when it came to me, and when I met certain people, it would come. Well, then this year, and actually at the show I met you at,
Uh-huh.
in March, you know, just my thing was, doing all of the frequency healings and chakra work and the acupuncture and stuff like that. I was planning on doing that, and I had picked up these. I collect tarot cards, and I had picked up this deck called the Akashic Record Deck. And I said, "Oh, well, this is interesting." So I just threw them in my bag for the show, and something told me, just use the cards, read them, read records for people. And I go, well, okay, all right. I have no clue what I'm doing here. I just, and I never read the book that comes with the cards or anything. I have no idea what the cards really are supposed to mean. And I just said, hey, have you had your Akashic records read to somebody? They came, they sat down, and it just started flowing. I would have them, I'd say, oh, okay, just pick 3 cards, and your first one's going to be your essence from source, or your purpose, or your main skill that you carry with you from lifetime to lifetime. Next one's going to be a past life, and the third one's going to be a future life. And so they did it, and I just hold the card up, and it comes down through my left hemisphere of my brain, and I just start getting all of these images and emotions. And oh my God, I have to tell you, everybody I have ever read, it's like seeing their true soul, who they truly are. And it's such an honor, because I am meeting that part of people that most people never get to meet or know about. And all of these people that I have read are such good, kind, conscious entities. And they have done such wonderful and amazing things in different lives for people, their community, for different planets, because I can go off planet also. um, and it just, sometimes I'll just start crying because of the pureness of it, and really connecting with people's souls.
Well,
It's incredible.
well, the Akashic for me, I've been working in the records since 2009, 7, somewhere in there. So I've been working in the records a long time. I teach Akashic records. So records are very expansive. And what we realize very quickly in working in the records is that everyone is a divine being, everyone has a divine essence. But our experiences vary and are different. There are positive and negative experiences. That's part of our evolution, because if everything was perfect all the time, you wouldn't grow, you wouldn't expand, you wouldn't go beyond who you are. And we come to have various experiences. And the universe doesn't look at things as good and bad.
Right.
It looks at it as we're in harmony or we're out of harmony. We're either moving aligned with who we truly are as a divine being, or we're having an experience outside of that, and we're trying something new. And so the records can give us so much information. And what most people don't know about the records is it's healing, because once you ask the question, you are setting yourself up that you want to know the answer. And that's the first step and the healing process, and just having an understanding and awareness of that experience and why it happened and what it was there for and what you learned or took away from it provides the individual with healing so that they can move into that phase of acceptance, forgiveness, understanding, which is what healing is all about. And so people that come to do readings come because they want to learn something or get something, but the records are so powerful and how I teach them, because we can clear belief systems in the records, we can change contracts in the records, we can understand our divine blueprint in the records. We can understand our soul essence in the records. It is not limited to any of this information. You can go in and ask historical questions in the records and find answers like, why did that war happen? How did those stones get there? What happened here? And the records will give you information. You can be creative in the records. Paint, write, all of that. It's every music note that's ever came through has come through some way through the records, have been downloaded so that composer can compose that series of notes. So the records are huge and very expansive. So I love it when people are able to connect. And you're right, it's so powerful when it comes to readings. And I bet I've seen that deck. It's green, the Akashic Records deck, because I think there's only one that's even out there right now. I've seen it and worked with it before. So it's a really powerful deck. So what an amazing experience for your guides to lead you. Hey, take this
Yeah.
and work with this.
Just out of the blue. Yep, do this. And I have to say that most people that come to me, it's interesting because more or less I think what I do is I am a confirmation. They already know or suspect who they are and what they're supposed to do, but they have that inconfidence, that doubt. And after they get done with a reading with me, it's like, yep, yep, you have confirmed everything, everything. I understand everything now. So it's a great experience being able to help them with that, because that's our own worst enemy, is our own doubt and inconfidence, and how can this be real? You can't touch it, and you really can't prove it. And so I'm really glad that the universe has given me the abilities to be able to help people this way, get them over that doubt.
Yeah, I think the largest percentage of all readings is confirmation. We know at some level that information that we need to know, but sometimes we need to hear it 3 or 4 times or from various sources or people that don't know us so that we can get that. Sometimes we get new information. So a lot of times people coming in to get readings, a lot of that information is stuff that their gut has been telling them all along, but it's a confirmation of, oh, that is what I'm supposed to be focused on. That is what I'm supposed to be looking at. So I think that's why readings are so powerful. And I love the fact that, today, if you are awakening or you're curious or you have lots of questions, we're lucky enough now in this timeline to have books and internet and resources and teachers and mentors and coaches, because even 20, 30 years ago, it was very limited on what was available to even tap into. So when we think about our parents, our grandparents, our great grandparents, they didn't have any of this, right? It was all word of mouth or someone in the village having this talent. It wasn't something that you could go and find out. So we're lucky right now in this time frame, I think, to have all those resources available to us to just discover, see what's out there, kind of connect in. So you had mentioned earlier you didn't have that many resources, right? You didn't have something to go tap into. Even to go to the library, they would have probably looked at you like you had 10 pinheads like, what are you looking for? And what is that? What are
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah.
Right. And today we're lucky enough, and especially in some areas of the country, it's a little bit more acceptable, known. People are there. We still have areas of the world that don't have that information, or people aren't available as easily. I know in Colorado, we're a spiritual state. So you can, there's lots of people here that are a little bit more curious than even other states, right? So it's kind of cool to be able to live here and not feel so alone. So I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So you talked a little bit about chakras. I love, when I first started my spiritual journey, I'll be honest, I was like, chakras, right? Everybody talks about chakras. But, the one thing I've learned along my journey is chakras are really important to us, our health, how we perceive life, how life affects us, how it influences us. Our chakras are a big deal. So I love the fact that you also worked a lot with chakras in the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chakras remind me of Qigong, because Qigong is an energy movement, breath work, and I didn't do that until later in life, specifically with the acupuncture, the master's degree I did in acupuncture. I kind of really got into Qigong through that. Um, but the chakras for me was breath work and energy moving. Um, Everything about how I did the chakras. Um, so, one interesting fact, when I was in college, um, I used to go model for the Art Students League in Denver, and they paid pretty good, and it fit in between my classes. And I just loved doing it because that was my time to practice my chakras. And they loved models that could stand for long periods of time. And so I would go, okay, guys, I'm ready. And I would just take a pose and I would begin my chakra meditations and go through all of the chakras. And if, like I said, for me, it was all about energy, energy movement, feeling the energy. And before I knew it, the hour was up and over. And I had stood the whole time perfectly still for them because I was in almost another dimension or another frame of mind working with all of this energy. And also at that time, I learned about the Merkaba. And so I began adding the Merkaba vehicle and getting all of that moving. And that would transport me into another place. It was almost like another home that I went to with all of these spiritual beings. And
Love that.
so, yeah, it was, I don't know, it was just really natural for me and easy for me. And so that I have been doing for a very, very long time. And what I do now is I kind of take people through with tuning forks and the frequencies. I take them through chakra meditations while they're laying on the table and take them to have their own spiritual experience and meet ancestors and learn information and whatever it is for that session and that person at that moment in time that source tells me that they need.
I think
So
that's awesome. Well, share with us as we wrap up today some of the services that you offer that people may check in. We'll have your website at the bottom. What some are some of the things that you offer?
So I do the Akashic Records readings. I also do Chaldean numerology, which is so in depth, and I find I like it better than the Pythagorean numerology. This one goes down so much deeper. I really like that. I also do philosophical consulting, nutritional consulting. I do auricular therapy. I do the chakra sessions, frequency sessions, guided meditation. And then I have a new program. It's called Quantum Activation. And this program, I work on the etherical body and work on stabilizing, harmonizing the what we call pyramids. They're like chakras, but they're also chakras in this system. It comes from ancient Egypt, and it works at the quantum level on the entire person, their entire being, helping them to become more stabilized, harmonic, in harmony with the quantum field around them, and vibrating to help them vibrate at a different frequency than they currently are. One that's more, I'd say higher frequency vibration, and opening their mind and their experiences
I
to
love that.
the awakening.
I love that. Well, I will tell everyone, please check out Yolanda's services on our website. You can go to there. We'll have it at the bottom of the video. And those that are listening, it'll be in the description page. So you can always find out more information. You can watch this as a video or you can listen to it as audio on any podcast channel. So thank you so much, Yolanda, for being part of our show today.
Well, thank you, Violet. I appreciate you taking the time, and this was great. It was great to see you again, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, me too. Thank you for watching Sacred Magic Podcast. I hope you have a sacred, magical week, and please comment, like, and follow us on your favorite channels.